Hi, boys and girls. Today is Thursday, and we are working on lesson 28 today. Today's focus is getting ready for creating paragraphs on our own for the report that we're going to have to write on the War of 1812. And we all know that a good paragraph starts with a topic sentence that tells what the entire paragraph will be about. Then the sentences after that are the details that explain the topic more. They give us really good details, a couple sentences about what we're talking about. And then finally, we end with a concluding sentence that finishes the paragraph and lets us know that the paragraph is over. It kind of sounds a little bit like the topic sentence sometimes. So on 28.1, we have the War of 1812, a report by Mr. Mouse. It says, select and mark the topic sentence, TS, and the concluding sentence, CS, in this paragraph. Then number the remaining sentences that provide supporting details in the correct order. So what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences here. One of them is the topic sentence. Another one is the concluding sentence, the last sentence. And then there's the ones that are the details that go in between. So before we could pick what is what, we have to read the sentences and then try to figure out which one would come first, then a detail, and another detail, and then the concluding sentence. So let's read the sentences. The British were kidnapping men from American ships to make them serve in the British Navy. There were many reasons that the Americans declared war on the British in 1812. This was called impressment. But he finally decided the United States went to war with Great Britain. President Madison was not sure if he should declare war or not. Also, the British were trading with Native Americans, which made settlers in the West very afraid. So we want to start by looking and thinking which one would start our paragraph. As I'm looking at it, I think a good one that would start off our paragraph, a good topic sentence, is right here. There were many reasons that Americans declared war on the British in 1812. That kind of sets us up, and then all the sentences underneath would be the details or the reasons why we would declare war on the British in 1812. So right here, we should put TS for topic sentence. Then we need to think of what sentence would come next after this. There were many reasons the Americans declared war on the British in 1812. This was called impressment. Nope, that doesn't go. There were many reasons that the Americans declared war on the British in 1812. The British were kidnapping men from American ships to make them serve in the British Navy. That sounds like it kind of flows nicely. So that would get a number 1. This one would get a 1. And then if you remember, the British kidnapping men from American ships to make them serve in the British Navy, that was called impressment. So that would get a number 2 next to it. So right now we have 3 sentences in a row. There we go. There were many reasons that the Americans declared war on the British in 1812. The British were kidnapping men from American ships and making them serve in the British Navy. This was called impressment. That sounds like it flows very nicely. So let's see if we could figure out what would come next. What would be the next detail? But he finally, we haven't talked about the he yet, so that kind of doesn't go, okay? President Madison was not sure. I think we need more details before we talk about if he should declare war or not. Let's see. Also, that tells us there's another detail. There's another reason. So also the British were trading with Native Americans, which made the settlers in the West very afraid. This should definitely get the number 3, okay? And then I'm thinking we got to mention him before we talk about him. So President Madison was not sure if he should declare war or not. That would be a number 4, which would leave us with our concluding sentence, which is he finally decided and the United States went to war with Great Britain. Look at that. It flows nicely. So I'm going to read this to you in the order that it goes, just to show you how it makes a nice paragraph. There were many reasons that the Americans declared war on the British in 1812. The British were kidnapping men from the American ships to make them serve in the British Navy. This was called impressment. Also, the British were trading with Native Americans, which made the settlers in the West very afraid. President Madison was not sure if he should declare war or not, but he finally decided, and the United States went to war with Great Britain. There we go. A nice paragraph. Good. So on the back, they have for you to practice it again, which we could do again together. Ezra, no, outside with that. Too much noise. Yes. So we have to, again, read all the sentences first, decide what the topic sentence is, what the whole paragraph is going to be about, where our details will go, and what would end it. So she rolled up the portrait and took it along with important American documents so that the British would not get them. We haven't mentioned a she yet, so nope, that can't start it. The British burned Washington, D.C. One important event during the War of 1812 was the attack on Washington, D.C. Dolly Madison was alone at the president's house with just a few servants. There were other battles during the War of 1812, but the attack on Washington, D.C. was one of the most important. That sounds to me like it's like ending it. I'm guessing this might be our concluding, but I'm not sure. When she heard that the British were coming, Dolly Madison told her servants to cut out the portrait of George Washington from its frame. So this whole thing, as I'm reading these details, it reminds me of the story we read, which was the attack on Washington, D.C. So I'm thinking that's our topic sentence, and that would be this one right here. One important event during the War of 1812 was the attack on Washington, D.C., because I think all of this is talking about the attack. So this would be the TS, the topic sentence. Then we need to find what would come next. And let's see. One important event during the War of 1812 was the attack on Washington, D.C. Dolly Madison was alone at the president's house with just a few servants. That would be a one. And let's talk about her some more. When she heard that the British were coming, Dolly Madison told her servants to cut out the portrait of George Washington from its frame. Yeah? Then, once it was cut, she rolled up the portrait and took it along with important American documents so that the British could not get them. That would be a 3 right there. The British burned Washington, D.C. That happened 4. And then, finally, right here, concluding sentence, there were other battles during the War of 1812, but the attack on Washington, D.C. was one of the most important. So there we go. We made a paragraph again with our topic sentence right here. Our sentences in between the details, and then our concluding sentence. It goes back and reminds us about the attack on Washington, D.C., but tells us that there were more important battles too. So that's that. Worksheet 28.2. What you're going to do, this is the one that you're going to submit. It's kind of working with what we just did, except it has paragraphs here for you. It says, for each paragraph, underline the topic sentence and cross out the sentence that does not stay on topic. So there's a sentence, there's like a mystery sentence somewhere in each paragraph that just doesn't belong. We'll do the first one together, and then you'll do the next 2 on your own and submit it, okay? Vegetables come in many different colors. Some vegetables are green like beans and lettuce. Some vegetables are yellow like squash. Sometimes meat is red. Other vegetables like carrots are even orange. Okay, well, I think we'll underline vegetables come in many different colors because that's our topic sentence. Then if you look, all the details talk about the colors. We have green, we have yellow, and we have orange. And then there's this funny little sentence right here that isn't about vegetables at all. It says sometimes meat is red. So that is the one we will cross out. So that's all you have to do. Read the paragraphs, underline the topic sentence, and cross out the sentence that just doesn't fit, that doesn't make sense, okay? And submit this page. Then for fun, you get to alphabetize these words. We have symbol, cell, crest, cost, candle, circle, cat, cubby, change, clam. Notice they all start with a C, so you're alphabetizing to the second letter. Sometimes the third letter, because we have a CA right there and a CA like right there. So try to put these 10 words in alphabetical order. And then for fun, The secret message one. Love these. They're just fun. Water, apple, shampoo, mistake, appetite, salt, nap, walrus, radishes, cable, drama, squatted, washed, and halo. Okay. And then you could skip this one. We don't need to do this. Just do the other one. If you want to do this for practice, that's fine. But I did ask for us to submit 28.2. So don't worry about submitting this one. Just 28.2. This is just practicing again. So if you enjoyed finding the sentence that doesn't belong, go ahead and do it. Okay, that's our day. Thank you. See you tomorrow.